All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Speak to the Beak. I am Tim the Ferds. I'm joined by Keith Hernandez, and we got a great episode today for you because we're recapping the Major League Baseball trade deadline. And, normally I try to be the calm host on the show, but if you know me personally, this stuff gets me heated beyond belief or excited depending on the move. So we're in for a good one because I've been waiting since Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern to record this podcast.
Yeah.
So Keith, are you excited? I know I'm ready to go already.
I'm ready.
Keith's ready. He doesn't sound as excited as me, but that's okay. That's
a little
all right.
late, that's why.
Yeah, it is late. We're out here grinding content, 10 p.m. Sunday night. But that's okay because I know Keith. We were texting back and forth for like 3 straight days. We might as well have just like moved in together so we could talk about trades. So here's what we got for today. We're going to talk about basically every big trade that happened. If we like it, we don't like it. Some winners and losers outside of, the big trade atmosphere. The NL East made a total of like 9,000 acquisitions, so we got a lot of guys to go through there. And obviously at the end, if you're here for your series of the week, fantasy baseball pickups, and beat the streak, me and Keith got you covered with that as well. The normal stuff I got to tell you, if you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you're on Spotify and Apple, make sure you rate, review, follow, etc. Check out the website, beakbrands.com. A little self-plug incoming. If you're a football fan, our 32 and 32 series started last week. We're 3 or 4 teams in. So if you're getting primed for the NFL season or you're looking for some fantasy football nuggets like my friend Keith is over here, definitely check those out because we got those coming in hot. Like I said, beakbrands.com. The podcast is also there, as well as other written content like the Fantasy Baseball Waiver Wire column, which I'm not going to lie, Keith. My hit rate on that's pretty good the past month or so. So
it's pretty good.
We're looking pretty nice there.
It's so funny that I feel like my dad is always the one in our league that gets the guys.
Your dad has to. I don't either. He's on the same wavelength as me, or he reads the waiver wire column. So I'm just gonna go with that. He reads the waiver wire column. Also, shout out Jeff Liu, another friend of the show here that reads the waiver wire column. And obviously, lastly, follow at Beak Brands on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram for latest updates. So, Keith, I know we are here to talk about the trade deadline, and we are going to talk about the trade deadline for an obnoxiously long time, probably, because we can't contain ourselves. But we're a New York-based company, and we both happen to be Mets fans. So, of course, we have to talk about Kumar Rocker not signing with the Mets. So, initial thoughts.
My first initial thought was, I can't believe we're going through this garbage again. Just give the man the money and just go. You already put up billboards of him in Times Square and you're advertising him this much. Like, I don't understand why they didn't just give him the money. Then I sat on it for a few hours and I was like, well, if they didn't sign him, his arm must literally be like spaghetti, or he has like no UCL, like R.A. Dickey. So that's what it's kind of looking like. I heard some reports that the MRI showed that he would need thoracic outlet surgery, which is literally like a career killer. So rest in peace. I mean, same thing. Sorry, Steven Strasburg. I know he's gonna go under that procedure too. So stinks.
His is different though. I was reading. It's not the same thing, but
it's different. Because it's something with like his neck, right? I don't know. Yeah. Which is still not good.
No, not good. Not good.
But yeah, Mets get the 11th pick next year. Supposed to be a deep draft class. I mean, I don't know how you can tell it's a deep draft class when half of them are going to be 17-year-olds. But I don't know. You make it work. It's fine.
So my initial thought was the same as yours. Like, you have got to be kidding me with this same old poverty Mets crap that I just cannot stand. Just give the man the money. And if it turns out he doesn't need thoracic outlet and he just needs Tommy John, I'm going to be livid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens. I know he had a ton of pitches on his arm. But what sucks is I guess you couldn't get a pre-draft medical on him because now you made the Mets burn basically their first round pick. And it could have been any team. It happened to be the Mets. Burn their first round pick on a guy. Now you're going to be picking 11th next year. And the let's just assume, right, if Kumar Rocker was healthy, you're not going to get a guy at 11 next year that would have been as good as the guy you just picked.
No.
So, like,
I mean, he was supposed to be a number 1 overall pick. And we said this with the pod we did after draft day, that he was projected number 1, top 3 at the worst.
I know.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, there's a future suggestion me and Keith will have to talk about in the offseason. Try to write a letter to Rob Manfred letting MLB teams trade draft picks, because that would actually make the draft exciting. But, yeah, there's some Kumar Rocker news for you, unfortunately. No help. I know me and Keith were on the train of, like, just sign him and bring him up right now. Yeah. I don't care if he's ready or not. I don't care if he just threw 900 innings over the past 3 months. Get him out there. That will not be happening, unfortunately.
No.
But let's refocus here. So we're here to talk about some big trades. So I guess we'll start with the biggest team. That would be the Los Angeles Dodgers trying to pull a 90s New York Yankees and buy the World Series. They went out. They traded for Max Scherzer and Trea Turner. Before we get to their other NL West friends there, does this instantly make the Dodgers the favorite for the World Series or the favorite for the NL West? Like, what do you think?
Of course. I honestly think they still don't win the division.
Okay.
Because there's just so many things wrong with their team. Like, they've had a terrible injury problem this year, like almost as bad as the Mets. Kershaw's still out, which is fine. Bauer's not gonna come back, which is fine. And now they have Scherzer, who's gonna probably pitch great for them. Buehler's been on fire all year. Urias has been fantastic. Didn't they also get Danny Duffy?
They did, who's currently injured, but yes, they did get Danny Duffy. Injured,
but they got him for free. They said player to be named later, and we'll figure it out. Whenever.
That basically means here's some random dude in low A ball that you're never gonna get past AAA.
Exactly.
So there you go.
Exactly. So I mean, they'll have a good roster, but there's a lot of guys that they don't know the market. They're coming from the East Coast. It's West Coast baseball is different. It's different. Maybe if there's any, I think they have another series or two left against the Padres, where it's potential that Tatis doesn't play, and Tatis is usually the one that torches them.
Yeah.
So if that doesn't happen, then they might be able to add some games that way. But I think the Giants are on a very, very hot streak right now that they'll be able to keep that like 2-game lead or whatever they have.
So if you're the Dodgers, right? What do you think is the bigger move that impacts them this season, Scherzer or Trea Turner?
That's a tough one, because like we said, like Scherzer's like the piece. Whatever NL West team adds them, like automatic like World Series favorites.
Yeah.
But Trea Turner's also like a top 3 shortstop in baseball.
Yes, he is.
And let's say now he's their second baseman. He's literally the best second baseman in baseball. Like by far.
Yeah.
So it also seems like a backup, like not even a backup plan, that they're not even gonna try to re-sign Corey Seager. Just gonna let him walk.
You think they would just trade him for Turner basically just like that? I mean, Turner's gonna command a ton of money.
Yeah, I think Turner's gonna get pretty much the same contract as Lindor.
Oh, he's gonna get more than that.
He's probably gonna get more. It's so funny that when the day the Mets signed Lindor to the extension, there were Nationals fans on Twitter saying like, if the Nationals ever gave my shortstop $340 million, I'll never watch this team ever again. But then like this is why the Nationals never keep any homegrown guys, and this is why Soto's not gonna re-sign with them.
Yeah.
So they're putting themselves in a bad spot.
So I actually think it's Max Scherzer, and I'll tell you why. The Dodgers, I know their bullpen is good. Kenley Jansen's starting to worry me a little bit. A little bit. He blew a save the other day. It's not the first time. He's a really good closer. But I think Scherzer will be able to give them valuable innings, like high quality innings that will really shorten the game. Like, you imagine you get into a playoff series with these guys, and it's Buehler, Kershaw, him, and Urias is like the top 4. They can all go 7+ quality innings. Like, if you don't get to the starter, it's a wrap. That's not good. That's not good. The other thing about Trea Turner is they literally have an all-star team, like at every position. It's incredible. You look at their team. and we kind of talked about this off air. It's like if they trade for Trea Turner, where's this guy gonna play? So you kick him to second base, you think, but then Chris Taylor was playing second base, and now where's he gonna play?
He plays center field.
Okay, but again, then where's Cody Bellinger gonna play?
Then Cody Bellinger's got to play right. I mean, they got Billy McKinney. They got Billy McKinney in right field right now.
I know. Well, they had Mookie Betts playing second today.
Oh my God, I forgot Mookie Betts is there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they have so many guys.
I forgot he's on the Dodgers.
You're gonna be playing musical people. Like, what do you do? Just take AJ Pollock out? But he's been so good.
Yeah, but Pollock's been good. It's the thing. But Bellinger's been bad. So
Bellinger has been bad.
you platoon Pollock and Bellinger,
I guess.
Or maybe you move Chris Taylor to left and Bellinger.
You see what I'm saying right now? Yeah. Like, they have so many dudes.
And Muncy's hurt.
Yeah.
They don't even have Muncy right now.
It's like ridiculous how many guys they have at the moment. So that's why I think as good as Trea Turner is, because especially like this season, he might be. Like, for right now, like, if you're just going on one season, he might be the best shortstop in baseball only because, like, I know Tatis is better, but, like, he's never on the field, so, like, for long stretches of time. But, I mean, obviously, Tatis is more talented, but, like, that's, like, what the category of player you're talking about with Trea Turner.
Like, literally, like, Byron Buxton shortstop type, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
Basically.
Yeah. So, with the Padres and the Giants, right, the Giants got Kris Bryant. And the Padres got Frazier, like, well before the deadline. Which move did you like better? And you said the Giants you think are going to hold on to the division?
Yeah, I think so. So I think the Padres are... So the two losers of the draft... The trade deadline are in the NL West. One is the Padres, and the other is the Rockies. The Padres are losers because they only traded for Frazier, and they didn't do anything else. They could have used a couple more bullpen arms. They could have used an extra starter. And I'm sure they would have gotten Scherzer, but then the Dodgers were like, we'll take Trea Turner too, and we'll give you a huge return.
Yeah.
We'll give you literally every single person we have, and they did.
It's so funny because that's definitely what goes on in, like, the front office room.
Yeah.
Like, the Padres want this guy. Doesn't matter. Just throw some top 50 prospects at him. We'll be fine.
The rumor was the Padres package was centered around Chris Paddock, which I would have loved because, first of all, he's terrible. Yeah. And then the Mets would have gotten to see him like at least like 3-4 times a year.
It's so funny because he's not even that bad. He's just like average, but like the hype around him was like immense. That was like Pete Alonso's rookie year also, and they were like going at it in the beginning of the year for like rookie of the year. Mm-hmm. And like...
But he has like Trevor Bauer syndrome.
He does, yes.
But not like beating people. He'll walk back to back people, and then he'll throw a meatball, and it's a 3-run homer.
Yep. And
he'll do it like twice in a game, and he gives them 6 runs in 4 innings.
You know, he used to do that for the Mets. Braden Looper, way back in the day. God. They brought that guy out of the bullpen. My dad always knew it too. He'd like give up a home run, like, oh, it's a 1-run game. My dad's like, guarantee you, fastball right down the middle right here. He's going to crank this. And it was automatic. He would just throw batting practice because he was so mad.
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine? Nah, crazy talk. Yep. Crazy talk. But how about Kris Bryant? Because I know if that was, I mean, as a Mets fan, we talked about this before we recorded. Mm-hmm. If we were going to trade for someone on the Cubs, that was the guy that I wanted.
That was the guy.
Why would we not trade for him? I don't know. It's what the Mets do. But the Giants ended up with him. Hit a home run today.
Yes. So that I believe is the first time ever that 3 players traded from the same team all hit a home run on their debut. Because Rizzo hit one in his debut on Friday. Baez hit one in his debut on Saturday. And then Bryant hit one in his debut today.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is insane. Good for them. I mean, it's so weird seeing them in different uniforms. Bryant. First of all, Bryant looks terrible in the Giants uniform. Rizzo, I've seen enough jersey swaps where like he looks normal in a Yankees uniform.
Yeah.
Joey Gallo looks terrible without the beard too.
I know. Yeah, I saw the press conference. Weird. I literally, if they didn't have the thing on the bottom, I was like, who is that guy?
Oh my God.
I had no idea.
Uh, and then what else? Oh, and Baez. I mean, Baez was like okay in the Mets uniform. Pinstripes with the Cubs and the Mets are kind of got similar jerseys, but just red and orange.
Got to see the black ones
So
though Friday night. Just
yeah,
throwing that out
those
there.
were those were
Those
beautiful.
were beautiful. And we missed those, but as we're not going to nerd about jerseys for right this second. So
Yeah.
let's go to the American League real quickly, and then we'll kind of come
Mhm.
back. So I'm going to throw something out to you, and you let me know where you stand on it. So the Blue
Yeah.
Jays traded for Jose Berrios. They ended up giving up Simeon Woods Richardson, who's an ex-Mets prospect they got in the Marcus Stroman trade. They traded Austin Martin, who is like this highly touted prospect a lot of people liked. People on Twitter were flaming them for the amount they gave up for Barrios. I'm not one of those people for a couple of reasons. One, I'm a rational human being most of the time. Two, Jose Barrios, top of the line starter, really good stuff, young guy, and he has another year of control. So he's not a rental. And three, people are like all upset about the Austin Martin thing. This man's a shortstop. When do you plan on playing this guy? When you have Bo Bichette?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he could play third base too. You have two third basemen. And then they're like, oh, he could play center field too. You just signed George Springer to a massive deal. Where were you going to play this guy? I'll tell you where, Keith. He was never going to play in the big leagues for the Blue Jays. Never.
Never. And they have another third base prospect or shortstop prospect actually. Jordan Groshans is going to be in the same position.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, they're blocked
Same
because
position.
their whole infield is stacked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, you might lose Marcus Simeon if another team signs him, and eventually you got to move someone to second base.
What? He's on a 1-year deal.
He's on a
right?
1-year
So
deal.
Probably gone.
But you might even get to re-sign him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if he likes to play there. I mean, he definitely likes to hit there because like the whole lineup is stacked. But I'm like, everyone, I don't get teams that are like mad, like fans that are mad when teams give up prospects. Like we're gonna talk about the Mets a little bit later. This guy is blocked. He's not playing. Unless you plan on letting Bo Bichette walk, which there's not a chance in hell I'm letting that happen. No way. So, like, to me, like, yes, he's a good player. You traded a guy who was never going to play for you and a pitching prospect who's been, like, all over the map for a top 2 starter. And on your team, he's, like, basically instantly the best pitcher that you have. It's him and Ryu, right? I mean, even though Robbie Ray's been really good this year. But, like, now you got 3 top-of-the-line guys, and 2 of them are lefties. That's a great trade. I think it's a great trade.
It is a good trade, but so I guess it's a good trade for both sides. Definitely a huge return. I mean, it's a win for both sides. I wouldn't say the Twins fleeced them,
but that's what I mean. Like it's an even.
They definitely they got the best return possible. And I think they were able to set the price. They set the price high before. And they were probably able to leverage what other teams would have given them.
Yeah.
And they were able to get away with that. I mean, also Martin's like a top 15 prospect in baseball right now.
Yes, he is.
Which is crazy. So I think just that aspect that he is just so high in the top 100 through the whole minor leagues.
See, for me, like I will always trade a hitting prospect for a pitching prospect. I'll do it every single time.
Yeah, I was ready to give him Mauricio for him, Met shortstop.
100%.
100%.
I would have told him he's on the plane already.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite is Meek Phil every time. Every time Mauricio hits a home run, like a Mets farm account will post it and he'll quote retweet it and he'll tag the Twins and say like what you see. Wow, those days are over, but I'm sure there's another pitcher in the winter that we'll trade for.
Yeah, I know.
We'll use him as leverage.
That's so funny. So I just wanted to throw that out there with the Blue Jays because they were taking some heat on Twitter. Not that they care, but like, listen, don't listen to those people. They're silly. I mean, most of the time.
Most of the time.
So let's go back to the NL here, right? So the Nationals and Cubs were 2 teams that blew it up. Like they traded everybody. The Nationals traded Turner, Scherzer, Josh Harrison, Yan Gomes, like basically any player. Schwarber's gone too. Basically any player that had value at all, they were like, get rid of them. Cubs, same thing. Bryant, Baez, Rizzo, Kimbrel. I mean, they traded Peterson earlier before this. Yeah. They traded him too. Like they
traded their entire bullpen. Their 7th, 8th, and 9th guys.
Yeah.
Chafin, Tepera, and Kimbrel.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So like both of them blew it up. And then on the flip side, the Rockies were like, yeah, we're only 20 and a half games back in the division, so we're not going to trade a single person on our team, including the guy that said, I am not re signing here, who's a free agent at the end of the year, which is Trevor Story. So let's
Yeah.
start with the Nationals and the Cubs. Do you like that philosophy? That you're just going to blow it up, you're going to be awful for like 3 years, and then you're going to have this huge, potentially Houston Astros come up.
I think you have to. When you have that many guys with value, I didn't agree with them trading the Nationals trading Trey Turner, just because he was a little. I think he's what 26, 27, and you're gonna have to sign him to a massive extension. DC is a big market.
Yes, it
The
is.
fans there are very loyal. Um, they have the money to do it. I mean, they gave them. I mean, look at the pitching contracts they've handed out, and maybe that's what's handcuffing them from signing Turner if they want to lock up Soto, if that's their plan. Um, and if you look into their contracts, all the deferred money that they have for Scherzer, Corbin, and Strasburg, it's like 35 million combined a year in deferred money from like 2025 to 2040, which
Yeah,
is
it's tough.
ridiculous, ridiculous. Um, so yeah, I mean it has to be done because again the Cubs, I mean that division's not good. All they needed was a little bit of pitching and they would have competed.
Yeah,
Um, but to have three big free agents with Baez, Bryant, and Rizzo,
Rizzo.
um, you weren't re-signing all of them. Uh, Baez wasn't going to stay because the Cubs wouldn't have given him the money he wanted. Bryant wouldn't have stayed. Same thing. I don't think they would have given him the money he wanted. I mean, they were having contract extension talks from the year after he won MVP in 2016, and nothing.
Yeah, it's
They
been
got
a
nothing.
while. Yeah.
Um, and I thought Rizzo, like I said, I think I said this last week that Rizzo would be the only one who would stay if they didn't trade him. Just because I feel like he's been Mr. Cub. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, the past decade. But I mean they shipped him off too. Um, it's weird to see. Kimbrel I think was a very very smart trade because he's was terrible the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Like 6 ERA terrible. I
He's
don't know
been
how
good this
he's just
year.
been untouchable this year.
Yeah.
Like ERA under one. Um, trade him at that peak. He's older too.
He's got a lot of
You never
innings on
know if
his
he's
arm,
gonna.
also.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
never know if he's gonna just fall off a cliff again. So might as well just get max value there. I have no idea what Tepera and Chafin's contracts are like, but I mean they got good returns for everybody for the most part.
They did. The Cubs did a pretty good job. But now I'm going to ask you about the Rockies. So,
Yeah,
you want to explain what's going on over there in Colorado?
yeah.
Maybe
Like I
drugs
said,
are
so I
bad,
said that.
kids.
Yeah, the two losers of the trade deadline came out of the West. One of the Padres, which I explained earlier. The second was the Rockies, which I said I'll get to. So this is it. Um, First of all, in the winter, you trade Nolan Arenado for nothing. You paid the Cardinals to take Nolan Arenado from you.
It was basically for Austin Gomber. That was it, straight up.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. At least they got him because he's been pretty.
He
He's
has
been
been
good.
good, but
He's been good. So I guess the narrative you traded him for nothing. I mean, you got a good pitcher now, which is
yeah, but for
like you
Nolan
said,
Arenado, you should be
for
getting a lot
Nolan
more than
Arenado.
Austin Gomber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and one Austin
Yeah.
Gomber should be getting five. Um, so now you have Trevor Story, who said he's not going to resign, and he's been, telling the front office to trade him, for the last 2 months, even though he's been playing terrible.
Yeah.
John Gray is going to be your free agent, and there's one other guy. I don't know if you remember. I'm blanking out right now.
I mean, they had a couple guys that could have been traded,
That could have been
but
traded. I mean, they could have traded Charlie Blackmon
they could
if
have.
somebody took that contract. Um, Even Daniel Bard, who's been pretty good this year.
They could have traded
maybe
Marquez for a huge haul if they wanted to.
Marquez
Yeah.
would have gotten a huge haul, but they said last month that they were going to hold on to him.
Which they did.
Whatever they did, they held on to him. So I guess their philosophy on that side was, since Trevor Story has been so bad this year and everybody knows he wants out, um, you know, people weren't going to give them the return that they wanted. And I guess the other thing is that Story's so frustrated that to any team trading for him, even if it's a new environment, knows that he won't re-sign and that he's going to test free agency. Looking for, big 200, 250, $300 million contract. So I guess they said, you know what? Those low-level prospects are not worth it. We're going to hold on to him. We're going to give him the qualifying offer because we know he's going to decline it. And the compensation pick is going to be better than any prospect package we would have gotten.
Which is crazy. I was waiting for you to get to that because I didn't know if you were going to, so I was going to do it. You're literally going to give this man the qualifying offer so he can decline it and then pray that the draft pick is better than, like, any trade you could have gotten.
Yeah. I think that's ridiculous.
Like, I would have went to any team and been like, yo, give me, like, 3 Venezuelan 15-year-olds that throw 90. Like, just give me anything.
Give me like $6 million in international bonus pool signing money. So I can sign like the top guy out of like the Dominican Republic next year, and
they're literally gonna let him walk for free.
Yeah, and I guess they're gonna do the same thing with John Gray. But the thing with John Gray is that he's probably gonna accept it because that's like $18 million for a year.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. If they hand that to him, he's gonna take it.
Yeah, he's gonna take it.
That's just, I don't know what the Rockies are doing. No wonder why Nolan Arenado wanted out. He hates the GM. Exactly. I guess so does Trevor Story now, and the fans are probably like, what are we doing?
Exactly.
We had like 3 huge trade chips. Like if they traded them all last year, right? Blackman, Arenado, and Story. They still have Blackman. Like, okay, he's been solid. You gave away Arenado, like we said, for basically Gomber, and you're gonna let Story walk for a qualifying offer. So out of 3 guys, you netted Austin Gomber, a random prospect, and that's it.
Yep. So Story did play today.
Okay.
He sat out yesterday. I thought he was going to sit out the rest of the season.
It's not the NBA, Keith.
I know.
He's no Kawhi Leonard on the Spurs, I'll tell you that.
People were putting him on retirement watch.
Retirement watch.
For the season. Like, pretty much like a Marshawn Lynch type of deal where he's just going to dip, wait until the contract's over, and be like, all right, I'm ready to
back. Go. Yeah. Ever since Yermin Mercedes almost retired in the minor leagues, everyone's doing that. Retirement watch. Brief.
Oh, my God.
Let's keep it in the National League, right? So, a lot of movement in the National League East. The Marlins made a handful of trades. The Braves acquired basically half of a new roster. Obviously, the Mets got Javier Baez. The Phillies ended up with Gibson and Ian Kennedy. So, there was a handful of trades. Which move did you like the best? You have one on the top of your head? Because I have one. I'm ready.
You're ready?
I'm ready.
Honestly, the Braves picking up Eddie Rosario for literally nothing.
Okay, that was one in my consideration. They got him basically for like a bag of chips.
Well, literally. I mean, Pablo Sandoval is pretty much a bag of chips. It's so funny because people were like just killing Pablo Sandoval on Twitter. The guy hasn't gotten a hit since like the first week of June. First of all,
I know.
He's literally in the dugout just to give hugs.
With the panda.
And put on the panda hat and give people hugs. The Braves traded Pablo Sandoval, who's done nothing, for Eddie Rosario, who's a solid outfielder, like 270, 20 home runs.
Yeah, he's always been good. Type of guy. I mean, he is hurt.
Solid. Yes, but fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then the Indians released Pablo Sandoval like 2 hours later. I don't understand, but whatever. That's a good move. Also, a second notable mention. The Nationals were able to get a living, breathing human being for John Lester.
Yeah.
I guess is
that trade I did not get.
Yeah.
For either side involved.
No. Stupid.
So
those are my 2.
Those are your 2? Okay. Yeah, well, the fact that they were able to get a body. I'll tell you the exact one right here. Ready?
Yep.
There was only 2 correct answers outside of the Eddie Rosario one. Number 1, Jesus Luzardo for Starling Marte.
God, I forgot about this one.
I know. I love me some Jesus Luzardo. Now, if the A's are trading you a guy, he's probably terrible. But considering Marte already told you like 3 times, like, F you, I'm not re-signing. The fact that you're able to get a left-handed pitcher. Yeah, you're able to get a left-handed pitcher from the A's who has electric stuff that you could just, like, throw strikes. Big return right there. The other one that I really liked, Adam Duvall. going back to the Braves.
Yes.
He was really, really good for them in the past. He played for them last season. Ended up in Miami. He was like, yeah, I'm still good at hitting. Even when he was on Cincinnati, he was like, I'm good at hitting. Like, the guy is just good at hitting. That's just how it is.
He's built for that Atlanta ballpark.
I was just going to say that. He fits in perfectly there. The Braves literally traded for a brand new outfield in terms of players. They also picked up Jorge Soler.
Yeah, but he's probably going to be a bench bat.
He's going to be that's what I mean. He's going to be a bench bat.
He's dangerous.
He is dangerous off the bench. So the fact that you were able to get Luzardo for Marte, who said he's not going to re-sign, obviously the A's get some help there. And then with Duvall, I mean, the Braves needed outfield. And we talked about it from the beginning of the season, like way back in the previews, like they should just put Acuna in center. And me and Keith are trying to play musical outfielders with the Braves. Turns out that Ender Inciarte is not on the team anymore. Acuna is on season-ending injured reserve. Marcelo Ozuna is either injured or in prison. I don't know which one. So now both. So now they have a whole new outfield. So I really liked both of those trades. Which one out of those do you think you like better?
It has to be Luzardo.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
he has so much potential. The fact that the Marlins got him for a rental,
yeah, it's incredible.
Blows my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know how they pulled that off. It reminds me of when the A's traded Cespedes for John Lester.
Yep.
And they got to the playoffs, and they're like, oh my God, we have no offense. What do we do?
They were going to win that wild card game. That was against Kansas City.
Yeah.
And they pulled Lester out of the game, who started it, and then the guy they brought in after that got rocked. And that was the year the Royals went to the World Series against the Giants, I think, and they lost in 7 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, crazy. Madison Bumgarner, hate that guy. Anyway, so last two teams here. Obviously, like I said, New York-based company. We're both Mets fans. We're talking about the Yankees first. What did you think of the Yankees deadline? They did acquire a couple of guys.
Very good.
Including Joey Gallo, Anthony Rizzo, etc. So you got a favorite move out of there. What do you think overall? Let's hear the thoughts.
Yeah. So I guess I'll go with because it was only the 3. It was Gallo, it was Rizzo, and it was Heaney, right? Those are the only 3 trades they made. But besides giving away Luis Cessa, which made absolutely no sense. That was stupid. Because you were clearing money. You're the Yankees. What are you doing?
It's a different Yankees.
Yeah, you're right. It made no sense. The gimme was Joey Gallo.
Yeah.
He was the gimme. They gave up 4 prospects, but they were all low rated in a very bad farm system.
Yeah.
So none of those guys are probably going to make it above AAA, even if they do. They're very low impact major league players. And only one of them was a pitcher. The rest of them are all middle infielders. So that was the gimme. I thought he was going to go there from the jump. The best one, I think, is Rizzo. Because, like we were saying last week, I thought he was going to the Red Sox. But if the Yankees picked him up, he's built for Yankee Stadium.
Yep.
Put him at the short porch. He's going to have 35 homers.
That's right.
And they need a guy who's going to get on base like that.
They do.
He gets on base. He hits for power. He's a great defensive first baseman. I find it so funny that they just said, Voit, we're done with you. Because, I mean, he's hurt. But they tried trading him, and everybody said no.
Yeah, I feel like the other thing with that, though, was like they had to trade Voit first before they got Rizzo, because then everyone else is like, well, now you have Rizzo, so I know you're just trying to dump him,
Yeah.
Like, the order they did it in was not correct there.
Not great. And I'm sure if he was healthy, it would have been easier.
Correct. I'm going to have to agree with you. Unfortunately, I think the Yankees did a good job at the trade deadline. Like I said, Anthony Rizzo at Yankee Stadium, the guy is going to hit a pop-up. It's going to go like 20 rows back in the right field bleachers. So, I mean, that's really good for the Cubs. He also has like good power the other way also.
He does.
Good clubhouse guy. Obviously, like you said before, he was kind of like Mr. Cub. Can the Yankees re-sign him? Probably, even though I don't think they're going to.
No.
They're just going to slide everyone over until LeMahieu gets the first base, I believe, going forward. But we'll get there when we get there. I really like the Andrew Heaney move because anytime you can get a pitcher for free, I mean, I'm in on that. That's a guy I thought the Mets should have been in on. Apparently, no one knew he was available because he's another guy. They were just like, yeah, we have no pitching, but we'll trade him to you for nothing. Like, all right, bet.
And the Angels were like, oh, we're gonna buy this guy, but we're gonna sell this guy, and then we're gonna buy this guy, and then we're gonna sell this guy.
Yeah, they were playing fantasy baseball is what they were doing.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So Yankees, very good trade deadline. Do you think it's going to be enough, though, for them to get in?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
I think the addition of Berrios to the Blue Jays gives them a huge boost. They also got Brad Hand, so they got a little reinforcement in the Blue Jays bullpen.
Yes.
Springer is on fire now after he had that huge series at Citi Fields last weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, Springer's on fire now. Once they gel, they're just gonna roll. I mean, the Yankees are still they're the Yankees. You know, they've just been a very, very weird team this year. Pitching's been a problem. No Luis Sessa, who's been one of the most consistent guys in that bullpen. I mean, Chapman's starting to come back. Him and Edwin Diaz had that, like, both at the same time. It was terrible for, like, 2 weeks. But now they both look like they're back, so.
Do you think the Yankees have any shot at the division?
Not at the division, like 10 games out.
Yeah, no.
Wild card.
They're like 7 back right now, I think. I just checked it.
And if they run into the wild card, it's going to be somebody. It's either going to be the A's, the Astros, or one of the people from the division. Either the Blue Jays, the White Sox, Blue Jays, Red Sox,
or Rays. I know, yeah. What they should do is just rename the wild card game the Oakland A's Yearly Invitational, because that's like what they do every year.
They never win the division.
They play the wild card game, and everyone's like, nah, they're not going to win. Look at this team. It's like 9 random guys, and then, they're up 9-0 in the third inning, and the game's over.
Yep.
So that's that. How about the Mets? I mean, they basically only made one move. I'm going to go second on this. So you could go first. So what do you got on the Mets?
I think the division is so bad that they hold on. They're going to win like 89 games and win the division. It's going to be so stupid. It's going to make me so mad. And then we're going to play the Brewers, and we're going to get crushed. I mean, we're just going to get absolutely embarrassed by the Brewers, and it's going to be very sad.
Did you like the Baez trade?
Like I said about Kumar, like I know last week I said I was going to be very mad if we traded for Baez, and then I realized that he's been playing better over the last 60 games, and like by better I mean like close to second MVP Javi Baez type of better.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what he does when Lindor is back. I think that's going to be very fun to watch. It already looks like they're bringing out the best in each other. I know Lindor is still 2 or 3 weeks away from coming back, but it could end up being exciting. And if he somehow turns into Yoenis Cespedes in 2015, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, it would be,
because that's what they need. Realistically, they did need a righty bat, even though they were in the top 3 or 5 in every single category in the MLB offensive categories. I mean, in the MLB in the month of July, first in weighted runs created plus, second in batting average, fourth in on base percentage, fifth in OPS, third in home runs, 10th in runs scored, fifth in weighted runs created plus with running in scoring position, and it still seemed like they were terrible offensively this month.
Yeah.
Just because they were so inconsistent. And every time they faced the left, they'd be like 1 run, 2 runs, like if they were lucky. So they did need a righty bat like Baez, who's been hitting like 330 off of lefties this year. So hopefully everything works out, but not the Cub that I wanted.
Yeah.
But
so I hate it. Don't get me wrong. I actually can't stand it. But I'm justified in it. So here you go. Ready? Number 1, we don't need a shortstop. Obviously. We already traded for a guy that I didn't really want, but we gave up nothing to get him. So I'm like, all right, fine. And then we gave him $341 million, and I said, okay, that's where I draw the line, all right? When we gave up nothing to get him, I was like, sweet, that's awesome. And then we overpaid him by like $100+ million, and I was like, all right, well, you just ruined that for me, so thanks. All right, so we don't need a shortstop, and he's going to play second base. See, I like to look at things in the long term, and I know we've talked about this at length. You're going to trade for this guy. You gave up basically the only center fielder in our entire farm system that we actually had. Now, yes, like you said before, he's coming off an injury, and we know prospects, they don't always pan out. Like, I get it. I don't care that we gave up a prospect. But now you're going to move Baez to second. McNeil can't really play third, so now you're going to move McNeil to right field because you're not going to be able to sign Conforto unless he takes a qualifying offer, which he might because he's been terrible this year, right?
Well, now we also have bad blood with Boris.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Worse
too.
Worse than before.
Worse than before is right. So Conforto might be a goner. So basically now you have to choose between Javi Baez and Marcus Stroman. And the Mets are going to try to make Lindor happy. and they're going to keep Javi Baez, which is going to make me sad. All right, so now we lost Stroman because we gave the money to him. So now you're basically running it back next year with the same team you have now, except minus Conforto and minus Marcus Stroman. So, but how much more money could you possibly spend? Like, to buy starting pitching, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then that's like what you said, well, we got to trade some of these guys in the minors for pitchers now because they're blocked. Because now we have 90 middle infielders on our team. Like, it's just ridiculous. And the other thing, like, with this whole Javi Baez is mad good, I know Keith said he's been playing better as of late. He's always just been, except for like 2 seasons, I get it. Super exciting to watch. Not going to argue with that. Really good defensive player. Not going to argue with that. Defense is expected to me. Hitting is where you get paid. All right, so here we go. Because don't worry, Keith. I had his stats ready to go, buddy. Career batting average, 262. Not great. And then you're probably saying, oh, well, he definitely walks a lot. I can guarantee you that he does not. All right, because his on-base career is 303. All right, this season alone, me and Keith talked about this the other day. He has 131 strikeouts. Guess how many walks he has?
How many?
15 walks, Keith, all right? And like you said before, like 11 of them are after they started the sticky stuff
Substance,
watch.
man.
Yeah. So like he doesn't have a good eye, which I don't mind. Like you're going to be a free swinger, that's great. But like to me that signals you're not a great situational hitter. If we were going to trade a top prospect, like if we were going to trade Crow Armstrong, just go get Jose Berrios. Please, for the love of Christ. Like go like because the other reason, my last reason on this, you're trying to beat the Giants, Padres, and Dodgers in a playoff series. Or you throw the Brewers in there also. As good, even if Javi Baez turns into, like, what was that, 2017 or 16 when he was almost MVP or whatever that was? He was really good. Maybe 2018, I'm not sure. It's been a while. It's been like 2 or 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Even if he
2018, I think. Yeah,
even if he turns into that guy, you don't have the pitching to compete with these other teams. It makes me sad.
It's frustrating.
It's frustrating. Like I said, if we were going to trade for a guy from the Cubs, I wanted Kris Bryant because he could play both outfield spots. He could even play center field. He could play third base. He could play first base. I mean, I'm sure we could put him on the mound. It's like as soon as we got Javi Baez, I was like, yo, what's his spin rate? Because we need pitching. And Keith said 0. I'm like, nice. We got a knuckleballer. Like, I think the Mets, like, just made a trade to say they made a trade.
I think so. Because, honestly, it really looked like at some point that they weren't going to do anything, which would have been awful.
But I don't know which one's worse now. We traded for another guy we don't need. I mean, yes, we needed a right-handed bat, but, like, we didn't have to give up a top prospect for him.
I think if they did nothing, it would have been worse.
It would have been bad either way. Like you said, Keith texted me, like, they waited so long trying to, like, wait out the market, like, the price will come down, and the price only kept going in the opposite direction, and then they screwed themselves, basically.
Yeah, and it's so stupid. Like, Steve Cohen's got to get off of Twitter, man. Like, God.
So,
stupid.
Enough about the trade deadline. That was 40 solid minutes of trade deadline talk. Mm-hmm. We're going to wrap it up quickly here. Series of the week, fantasy baseball ad, and beat the streak. So Keith gets to go first this week. So what series are you looking out for?
Astros at Dodgers. Self-explanatory.
Self-explanatory is right. I'm going to go Blue Jays Red Sox. This series starts a little bit later in the week. And to me, this is basically the Blue Jays season. Because if they get swept, it's a wrap. Right? They're currently 7.5 games back in the division. Boston's half a game back. The Blue Jays need this series bad. Because, like I said, if they get swept here and it's double digits, over. Done.
That's it. Goodbye.
So they need this one very, very badly.
Mm-hmm. And now the Red Sox are out of first place, too.
Correct. Tampa.
And I think they just lost again right now.
Oh, Sunday Night Baseball. Yeah.
They lost.
I hope the Rays go. Also, a little piece of news. Tyler Glasnow out for the year. Tommy John, not good.
Not good.
Who you picking up this week in fantasy baseball, Keith?
Jordan Romano.
Okay. Fill in our casual fans. Who is that, and what
So
does he do?
guess what? We were just talking about the Blue Jays. He
Yeah.
is the closer for the Blue Jays. It looks like he's going to stay the closer even with Brad Hand coming, which is good because Brad Hand hasn't been that good of a closer with the Nationals, which was so crazy because that was his big thing about signing with them is that he wanted to be the closer.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you get traded, you have no control over that. But Jordan Romano's been doing a good job. He just came back off an injury. Notched his ninth save of the season yesterday. So he's rolling. He's filthy. He's good.
He is really good, and like we said before we got on here, Blue Jays bullpen could have been nasty if those guys stay healthy. Yates and friends. I'm going with Harrison Bader. So if you read the waiver wire column, hopefully you have him already. His ownership percentage just spiked up over 50. It's at 53%. And over the past week, it's gone up 38.6%. So the guy is on fire. Over the past 7 games, he's batting .421, on base .429, slugging .842. For you OPS freaks out there, that's about a 1,200 OPS. So definitely good in category leagues. Doesn't offer much power. He only has 9 home runs on the season, but super high batting average. And he has been hurt. Keep this right. He has 2 home runs in the past 7 days. So he should be able to help you in a variety of ways. He's been playing really well. If you need a hitter, there you go, Harrison Bader. So just throwing that out there. Let's wrap it up with a little beat the streak, Keith, for Monday, August 2nd. Who you got?
So Baltimore is playing at Yankee Stadium. It's going to be Anthony Rizzo's debut at Yankee Stadium. And Jorge Lopez is pitching. If you've ever seen Jorge Lopez pitch, he gives about 5 home runs a game. This dude literally throws batting practice. His ERA is almost a 7, which is pretty much like Matt Harvey territory. Except Matt Harvey went up to a 7, and Matt Harvey's pitched 3 straight 6-inning scoreless games. So he's back on track.
Yeah.
Jorge Lopez though, literally pitches 5 innings every game and gives up 5 runs every single time he's out there. So Anthony Rizzo is my choice for tomorrow.
Okay. I'm going to go double Blue Jays. We're going Vlad Guerrero and/or Teoscar Hernandez, your pick, against Eli Morgan. ERA of 7.47. And the Blue Jays have one of the best offenses in the league. Vlad's going to be a little salty that they taped him to the bench because he did not play today. So he will be parking approximately 1.5 home runs tomorrow off of Eli Morgan. So,
good pick.
Good pick is right. Picks. Yeah, both are good picks. So, yeah, if you want to mix and match, go Rizzo and Vlad. Just throwing that out there. It could happen.
Yeah.
But listen, kind of a long show today. That's okay. A lot of content out here. Me and Keith will be back next week. We're into August, Keith. It's August 1st as of this recording. So we're really getting down to the nitty-gritty stuff here. So we'll kind of see what kind of headlines we get this week, and we'll take it from there. So until next time, me and Keith are out.